Hey there, everyone. Donna Hoffman here, your interior design advocate and your advocate in all things design. It is Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, so you know what that means. We are stopping all activity here in this very busy design studio. We have 5 billion projects up in the air right now. It's unbelievable, exciting, fun, and exhausting. But we like to put it all aside, clear off the fabric from the tables, and come out here and talk to you about what's happening in your life in design. Now, every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, we're here, and I like to kick things off before I take your questions live. I like to kick things off with a little mini lesson. Now, I do encourage you to type in your questions as soon as you can so that you're assured of my getting to you before we have to sign off and zip out of here. So if you're just joining now, feel free to start inputting your questions. So last time we were together, we talked about the functional side of doing a kitchen renovation, what you can do to kind of ease the stress, ease the headache, because there are a lot of moving parts. And I warned you that doing a kitchen renovation or a bath renovation, two of the most unpleasant, uncomfortable things for any homeowner to live through. So we talked about the fact that there are some things you can do to make your life easier, and you definitely had to kind of put on your big girl panties and get ready for an annoying couple of weeks during your rip out and install. Okay, well, let's talk about another slightly overwhelming part of a kitchen renovation, and that's in the very earliest part of your planning. And so what I'd like to do in this mini lesson, before I take your questions live, any questions that you might want to input about this topic or any other, I wanted to talk to you about things that you can do to make the beautiful part of kitchen renovation planning easier, more focused. For so many of you, you start your kitchen renovation project by zipping right into a wonderful kitchen renovation group in your hometown. Kitchens Are Us, Kitchens USA, whatever that kitchen group is for you. Or you're working with a reputable builder in your area. And what happens from there is people just zip right into look at cabinetry. That's where everyone starts their project. It's where builders tell clients to start their projects. We're working with a very big luxury builder right now. Love them, beautiful work. It's where they wanted us to start the project with our client as well. So I'm going to tell you something right now. Don't start with your cabinetry. There are some things you want to do a little earlier before you walk into Kitchens Are Us or whatever group you're using in your area. And I'd like to talk to you about developing your kitchen concept before you start putting real ideas to paper. Well, you're going to put your concept on paper. What do I mean by a concept? You know, ideas are these random thoughts that you have. It's all these wonderful pictures that you've been collecting on Pinterest or Houzz or ripping out from your favorite design magazines. That's a good thing to do. I want you to do that. But here's what I want you to know. Walking into a kitchen group or to a great builder with just your file of images or having them downloaded on your iPad, it's not enough. You're asking those professionals to be able to make a lot of assumptions about you. So I want to talk to you about developing your own kitchen concept to share with your team. What do I mean by a concept? Well, if I create a design board for a client, let's say for a living room, I will show a particular concept of what the room could look like on a board. And I might even show a concept on a board that can morph into a couple of different versions. That's one option. Or sometimes I'll show two different room concepts on two different boards. So a concept is really your overarching bullseye that you're aiming for. Does that make sense? So what I'd like you to do before you meet with your builder or kitchen group, I'd like you to look at all of your kitchen images, and I want you to answer the following questions. In a binder, I'd like you to start a binder on your project. And in the very first section, I want you to just talk about, you're going to label it concept. And I want you to answer questions as you look at your images. You know you're going to have to look at cabinetry. You're going to be looking at, I want you to pay attention to the hardware. I want you to pay attention to your backsplash. I want you to pay attention to your floors. And I'll let you pay attention to your lighting as well. And I want you to ask yourself, conceptually, where do I want this kitchen to go? So let's say Madeline might say, you know what, I want to get away from that whole white kitchen trend. I know I want black, gorgeous, high sheen cabinetry, and I know that I'm going to want something on my backsplash that's some sort of pattern, and I want it to be black and white. And I know I want my floors to be a really rich, pale wood. concept, not decisions, but not random ideas. It's what am I aiming for? If you've taken my Decorating Genius System course, you know I teach you something called your design fingerprint. And I'm not going to teach you that now. I need a whole workshop to show it to you. But basically, your design fingerprint is the sum total of all your cravings. It's what lives underneath your design style. Well, with kitchen planning, what I'll tell you for concept development, you'll find a lot of your concept direction in your images as well. So I want you to go from concept down to decision. Ideas are these random things all over the place, right? Concept organizes your ideas. Concept means I've tossed some of those ideas. Yeah, I was thinking for a while I might do a gray cabinetry, but now I know I want to do a really high lacquer black cabinetry, do a whole black and white kitchen, okay? So concept is a slightly more narrow playing field than all of these random one-off ideas. So once you have that concept in your mind to share with your team, you're going to make it easier for your team, builder, kitchen group, even an interior designer you're working with, to start to read what you are and who you are and where you're aiming for this kitchen. So once you are past concept development, I still don't want you to just go running into picking at your cabinetry. That's the easy part. You're going to know based upon your concept generally what color range your cabinetry is going to be in. So I'm going to tell you that the easiest place to start your kitchen aesthetic planning, your creative planning, is not on your cabinetry, have a concept, but instead I'd like to see you go into your backsplash. What are you doing on that backsplash? Are you going to want something with a lot of movement? Are you going to want something with a lot of color? Something with a lot of pattern? You need to know that in your concept, and I would start there if you know you want something very intricate with your tile. Including if you want something uber simple, maybe you don't want tile, maybe you want to take a great Cambria or quartzite counter and wrap it right up onto your wall, and that's your entire backsplash, and you do that all the way up behind your cooktop. You can do that as well. So deciding what type of pattern, movement, color is on your backsplash will help you pick out the right shade of white in your cabinetry meeting, will help you focus differently on your hardware in that cabinetry meeting as well. And I will say to you as well, I'd like you to think about what your floor is doing. It's possible you're not changing your floor, that you're sticking with what you have. Great. Take a picture of it, stick it in that binder. So when you're meeting with your team in a remote location, aka the cabinetry shop, you can say, okay, this is the floor color I have now, this is staying. Or, hey, we're ripping out this floor, or we're restaining this floor. Here are the color ranges in my concept where I want to take that floor. So remember, you don't just jump into decisions in design. We designers don't just jump into decisions. There are a number of things that we do early on to develop our concept. Now, designers, professional designers, we work a lot faster than DIY design lovers, surely, and we will come to a concept fairly quickly, and we'll start to see a room in our mind's eye fairly quickly. But as a design lover, if you start to do what I've just suggested, it will make it easier for you to communicate and communicate well to your team, and also not get thrown off track by a lot of random ideas. That said, a good concept is a fluid one, is a dynamic one, and it's one that can start to morph and change and take on some new directions or some new nuances. It happens with professional designers as well. When a client signs off on an idea that you thought, that's a wild card, I wonder if they'll go for it, and then they say, yeah, I like that, and you go, oh, great, now we can do, I don't know, a metal backsplash or an all glass backsplash. So start with concept, and then when it comes to drilling down into your creative decisions, figure out what you're doing on that floor, and figuring out what you're going to do on that backsplash will really, really help you. All right, my lovelies, if you have any questions you'd like to post live, I'm happy to take them here with you now. If you don't have questions, we'll sign off a little bit early, no problem. We are getting questions coming in according to my high-tech note that says, questions coming in. Hey, we are so high-tech here. Ooh, you impressed? I'm impressed. Okay, so Terry says, hey from South Carolina. We are doing a bath remodel and doing the tub surround in marble and black accents. Ooh, Terry, may I book a bubble bath at your house? That sounds great. So anyway, back to Terry's question. Doing a tub surround in marble and black accents. Floor is retro black and white tile. I am salivating. Vanity with white Carrara marble. Do I need black vanity mirrors or silver? Gosh, Terry, you know what? You could do either one. I am doing a Hollywood glam bathroom right now, and we're doing black cabinetry. We've got a lot of black and white yumminess happening in that bath. It's an ensuite bath, so meaning it's connected to the guest room that it's attached to. So I would ask you, is there a color in the main bedroom that this bathroom might be connected to if it's a master bath? And if silver is important in that master bath or that master bedroom or that ensuite bedroom, maybe you do want to bring silver in. The reason I brought up that Hollywood glam project that we're doing is we're doing just that. We are taking a couple of elements from the adjoining ensuite bedroom and pulling those into that bathroom. So that's one way you can go, Terry. The fact that you are doing black, what color are your cabinets? Did you tell me what color your cabinets are? Doing the tub surround in marble with black accents. I wish I knew what color your cabinetry was, because that would also tell me if your mirror should go black. So if you want to send in a follow-up, you can. That's kind of hard for me to answer, sign off on the black or not. Okay, so I think generally it sounds like you could do either one, and hopefully those two suggestions will help you. Nancy Lynn is saying, hi, Donna. Hello there, Miss Nancy. Nancy is also saying, I am loving the new cream color kitchen cabinets. What do you think? Would you stay safe with the crisp white cabinets if you're not going to be changing it out for 10 years? You know, Nancy, beating design trends is like gambling in Vegas. You know, it's anyone's guess what the next thing that's going to be coming out. We know we'll see it. I'm going to the Maison and Objet show in Paris in September. Sure, I'll be seeing some indication of what's happening there. When I go to the Architectural Digest show in New York, I'll see an indication about what's happening there. What you need to know about trends, Nancy, is that they develop and morph and develop and morph, and they don't just start and then stop. They start to kind of go on a diagonal, and then they can also kind of flatline for a while and then develop some more. So it's not surprising to me that cream's coming out a little bit now that we're seeing all the white. There has been so much white happening for so long. I'm not surprised to see black cabinetry coming out in some areas as well, and creams starting to show up. So what do I think of it? I think you should do a kitchen that you're just going to absolutely love. And if it's not something if you don't have to worry about selling your home in 4 or less years or 5 or less years, I wouldn't worry so much about the trends. I would do what you think you're going to absolutely love living with. Because I have news for you. There are people who don't like white kitchens and are still doing stained kitchens. We're still doing stained kitchens with some clients. It really depends on your design fingerprint. So hopefully that helps you, but do I like them? There's very little in design I dislike. There are 2 design styles I do not care for, and I'll never tell you what they are because sometimes I have to design in them. All right, there you go. Terry is telling me that the vanity is white. You know what? If your vanity is white in that black and white kitchen, you could do silver, you could do black for your mirror surrounds, Terry, because that black will really push off that wall. So ask yourself, what am I walking away from as I move into that bathroom, so I know if there's an element I want to repeat, or do I want a totally, big splash on those mirrors, in which case the black will really pop. You might even want to think about doing something in a framed mirrored mirror. That could be pretty yummy too. Alrighty, so Robin Jackson saying hi there. Hello back to you, Robin. Elaine is saying Elaine, I don't know, either you fell off your chair, you're missing half a question, so I'll let you do a follow-up. Diana Davies, do you think gray is here to stay for walls and flooring? Diana, I don't know if you're with us at either last Facebook Live or 2 Facebook Lives ago. I said, gray has been around for a long time. They were doing it in the 40s, the 50s, the 30s. We're doing it now. I was doing it in the 80s and the 90s, and then in the early 2000s. Gray is a color. So if you like it, do it. If you're worried about your home looking trendy, yeah, if you do every single wall in gray and different shades of gray, you know, in 5 years, somebody might say, oh, I bet you did that home in the year 2000, you know, 16, 17, 18. But that said, we're still seeing a lot of gray out at market. So I don't think it's going away yet. And again, there are people who have hated gray from the second it came out, and they still want tan walls or creamy walls or even buttery walls. So hopefully that helps you. I don't see it going away though, if that's of any comfort to you. I just can't tell you on a trend line when it's going to pop and drop dead. So not trying to evade you, I'm just being honest with you. Nancy said, thanks for the great answer. Hugs back to you, Nancy. Terry is saying, so to recap on what I taught earlier, concept on all with design boards, then decide on the detail in order of backsplash, hardware, flooring, cabinets. No, Terry. You got it on the concept on the design board, but I would say hit that backsplash and the floor in your more solid thinking. And if your floor is just fairly unpatterned and has just a color assigned, great. I would get into what is my backsplash. Here's why. Because let's say you say, you know, Don, I want my backsplash to just be a white subway tile or a white subway tile and a herringbone. Okay, great. Find the tile you like and then take a sample of that to the cabinet store. Do you know how many shades of white there are? A babillion. And some cabinet lines have whites that go a little blue and whites that go a little gray and whites that go a little creamy. So if you have it in your mind's eye that you would hate having two different whites, a white cabinet and then a different color white on your white tile backsplash, I think you're going to have a much easier time, and I know I do with clients, when I get them to focus on those tiles first. I had a client who worked exactly backward with a builder recently. Their cabinetry was a white with a strong creamy undertone. They really wanted a subway tile in a herringbone. Finding a white that was a creamy white was not easy. And, you know, if money's no object, yeah, you can just go wherever you want. But if you're trying to respect a budget, which we were, it made for a slightly more frustrating search. So you're not wrong to start with your cabinetry. I'm just telling you, you're going to make your life easier if you nail down your tile, your backsplash, and then bring a sample of that with you to the cabinet meeting. Okay, hopefully that clarifies for you, Terry. Elaine, we are re-rocking the exterior kitchen wall that has a garden window. Should we change out that window to a flat glass window on the north side of a house? Elaine, I have no idea really how to advise you on that. I would say that you should talk to a builder who's doing that work for you to tell you what you should do. On the aesthetic side, I don't have a strong preference, but I feel that that's a more functional structure function question, and as a designer, we don't go as deep into structure function as builders do. So I would, even if you were my client, I would ask that of a builder in a meeting with you. Okay, great question though. Barbara wants to know, hi Donna, I have a kitchen remodel I'm planning and I have the concept for everything. Shaker, black and soft white cream cabinets, faux marble quartz, floors are already bleached boardwalk, and it's the color of LVT tile. What's LVT tile? Am I missing something? However, I'm stuck on the layout, dealing with bearing walls and water coming from the ceiling, hence no island. Help. Barbara, my love, if kitchen design was so simple that I could give you that answer in a Facebook Live, I'd be rich. I'd be a millionaires. That is a structural question, and that is also a layout question. You need a really good kitchen design group or kitchen designer or builder with a kitchen design group who can map that out for you. I do not want any of my design lovers ever to feel like you can go out and design your own kitchen layout. You can't. You definitely need somebody excellent who knows what they're doing, so you get a good work triangle, really well ordered space, maximizing your cabinetry, maximizing your depth. There are certain things that you absolutely need to call in a professional for in design, and kitchen layout is one of them. So Barbara, get thee to a kitchen layout specialist. I'm getting the hook from Katie. Is that the hook? It's the hook. Yep. Time for 2 more questions. Okay, here we go. Luxury vinyl tile. Barbara is telling me that's what LVT is, luxury vinyl tile. Thank you so much. I don't deal with a lot of that, so I didn't know that acronym, but now I do, so thank you. Okay, it looks to me like I am through with basically I've gotten to all of the questions that you guys have asked. So there you go. So here's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to ask the guys up in the control room. Let me just hear in my earpiece. Are they ready for me? They are. I'm going to ask the guys in the control room to bring up the Chiron, the lower third, on how to follow us on Instagram. If you like what we're doing out here, follow us on Instagram. And here comes that high-tech Chiron. There it is. Follow us on Instagram. Katie's laughing at me. There it is. Follow us on Instagram, decor.genius. Okay, it would be nice to be in a high-tech TV studio, but we're not, so there you go. And then, speaking of high-tech, I want to tell you that next week for our Facebook Live, I had and have every good intention of going live with you Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, our regular time, but I'm going to be out in California next week. I'm looking at a property I might be designing in Palm Desert, and then I'm going to be heading to the Design Blogger Conference to get all kinds of yummy information to bring back to you. It looks kind of 50-50. We don't know if we're going to be able to go live out there. We have the technology called Donna's phone, no problem, but we may not have the time in the schedule. So in the event that I cannot go live with you next week for our normal Tuesday Facebook Live, tune in anyway, because we are going to post a video that we shot just as a backup when Katie and I were down at the Philadelphia Design Center recently. We laid down a great little piece of video that will help you on window treatment fabric choices, okay? It's shot live at the Philadelphia Design Center. There were people walking into our shot and giggling and running out of it, but there'll be some good information. So in the event that I can't go live with you a week from today, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll know that I will be back the following Tuesday with you, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And at that time, I will be talking to you about how to blend different design styles. Yikes, a question I get a lot. Okay, my dears, listen, I have a massive headache. I'm going to scooch out of here. Take some aspirin, get back to work, sending you hugs and kisses. And remember, when it comes to being wonderfully successful in your design projects, making your home look pinboard beautiful, don't just be bold and be brilliant. Above all, be wise. See you next week.